Back working on our 7th gen Civic today, 01 through 05. Today what we're going to be doing is tackling a common leak on these, which is the oil pan gasket. So let's go ahead and get a look at it and see what we're working with. This one does have a 1.7 D17 engine with 300 and a lot of thousand miles on it. All right, so we'll be able to see here quite a bit of leakage here. And all around the pan. So while we're looking here, we'll look see what it takes to take it off. So see all the bolts around the perimeter of the pan. You'll see this bracket here that bolts from the block to the transmission. That 4-bolt bracket will have to come off. There is then I think there's an inspection plate behind that bracket that'll have to come off. And the transmission, the exhaust, either from the downpipe here to the manifold will have to come off, or either from the manifold to the head, drop it down. We'll see. Either one of those ways. We'll see whatever's the easiest. So there's how the manifold bolts up. Take that cover off. There's probably 5 or 6 bolts holding it to the head. So let's look at the gasket. So this one is from Velcro. So this one is different than a standard gasket. This one is marketed for if you have damaged pan rails, which we don't. But probably around a year ago, I put a pan gasket on this car because it was leaking, and it's still leaking. So the one that was on it was very dry, and took a while to get it off, but I made sure not to bend up the pan rails from what I can remember, and I put it on and it's still leaking. So that was the standard gasket. This one, so I went with this one to try it out just to see. I may also put, I usually don't put silicone on these gaskets, but except for like where the block mates together, but I might put a thin coat on both sides of this just because I'm not trying to replace it again. But so that's what we're gonna do. I think last time, to get the exhaust out the way, I think I just unbolted the manifold from the head and dropped that down. I felt like that was less risky than so I think maybe those downpipe bolts were really rusty, and that's why I didn't try to take it off there. So I think that's what I did. So I got an exhaust manifold gasket. So we're gonna try it that same way, see what happens. Obviously we've already got it supported on jack stands, so the first thing we're gonna have to do is drain the oil out of the engine. And then we'll get the exhaust out of the way, and we'll get the pan off. And so let's get to it. I think I'm gonna do it by pulling the manifold, because that's how we did it last time. So disconnect our connectors for our O2 sensors. Okay. Just one more bolt holding that back. Well, other than these 2 on the corners. Of course, I've left my work lights at work, but let's just reiterate that 1 bolt here and the other side, and then 1 bolt there, wait, then 1, and then 1 bolt here, right there, and then on the other side as well to get that bracket off. It's kind of like a reinforcement bracket between the engine and the transmission. So, and again, this is for, this vehicle is a manual, so if you got an automatic, it's probably a little bit different. I don't know if it'll have this same bracket on it. It definitely won't have this inspection plate that we'll see in just a moment when we get this bracket out of the way. So now we got one, it's not just one, and two bolts for our inspection plate. Gonna be 10s. Oh, dropped it. So that shows the back of our flywheel there. All right, so we're just gonna work around. We're gonna start just slowly taking loose all the bolts around the perimeter of this pan. Okay, so here, looking at a gasket, which is really weird, is looks like the gasket tore. So this could be why it failed. So I've done this a year ago. Generally, I'm really good about torquing things to spec. So I might have winged it on this one. Maybe that's why the gasket failed. Or could have been something else, but so I don't know. But we got a new gasket. We're gonna try more heavy duty one. So we're gonna see what happens. So I've already got that cleaned up. I cleaned it up really good when I had this pan apart last year. So really all I need to do there was just wipe it down. So go ahead and get our new one put on. Some places you want to put RTV generally is like right here where the block comes together, as well as right here where the front cover goes to the block. Usually put some around there. I'll probably put some like in these corners here as well. So we're gonna do that, then we'll put the gasket up. Usually I put the gasket on the pan, just put the whole thing as an assembly, but I try these little snap up deals. I usually just throw these away, but let's try them. So it says to put these in a block, put the gasket up, and hold the gasket up, then you put the pan on, then you can take these out. So let's try it out. Okay, so we're gonna put our gasket up here. So now we got the gasket up. So now we'll put the pan up. Now we're going to start some of the nuts on the studs. So now we got the pan on. Torque spec is 105 inches. I don't know if that's the stock spec on this. I hadn't even bothered to look it up. Or if that's just the spec that the manufacturer of the gasket wants to get proper compression on this style of gasket, being it's not a OEM style gasket. So I'm gonna go with this one, and then I'm gonna go ahead and torque all these down, stick the exhaust back on, and fill it on up, and then we'll be done with it. Yeah, as you can see, we got it finished up. We just checked, there's no leaks. We went ahead and put a new oil filter on. New oil, of course, got it sat down, checked it for leaks, everything's good to go. So obviously the reinstallation is the same as the disassembly. If you've got a, say if your car had an original gasket on there, that stock one was, when I originally changed it last year, that stock one was so hard and like seized onto the pan, I had to put it, we got a heated parts washer at work, so I put it in there several cycles to let it heat and kind of soften up that old gasket, and I took a scraper. Just really had to work. It took a while to get it all off, but anyway, some other methods of how to get it off. That's just how I did it. But so that's pretty much it. Like I said, make sure you torque it to spec, and should be good to go. If this helped you out, let me know. If you got any questions, let me know as well, and we'll see you on the next one.